so here I am with project number 1. So you'll get all your little bits to do this one at home too. I don't know if you know this, but as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, we get this awesome bi-monthly magazine from Stampin' Up! And it's got some awesome suggestions for some fun cards, and it kind of steps them up in different levels. But this is one of the examples actually that was in this month's magazine, or the Stampin' Success magazine. So I am going to start off with a crumb cake card base, okay? And I don't know if you've seen this one in the catalog, and if you did and you jumped over it because you didn't think you'd use it, but this is like an all-time favorite of mine. So we're going to start off using the Gorgeous Grunge stamp set, and I'm actually going to use kind of the big splatter one first. And I'm going to use the Crumb Cake Classic Stampin' Pad. Now, I said it was crumb cake paper, and I said it's a crumb cake stamp pad. And I know some people are like, well, that's not going to show up. But Stampin' Up! Does this kind of tone-on-tone thing so that when I stamp with the same color as the paper, you actually get this gorgeous kind of effect in that it does show up and it is quite striking. But it's just the same tone in a darker shade. Okay, so that was the kind of the bigger one. Now I'm going with the kind of splattery one. So I'm going to throw a couple of these bad boys on as well. Okay. And so now, this is a color combo I never would have thought of putting together, but I loved it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take, this one is just that mint macaron, and you'll see it come up in my second card as well. So I'm just going to run my snail. Make sure that I get my sticky parts on here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of take him, and I'm just going to throw him across on a diagonal like that. And then I'm going to take, this is crushed curry, okay? Whoops. So I'm going to take my crushed curry, and I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Just going to make sure that I have, that I'm kind of keeping it on that same line, like I want to keep that all even and balanced. Now this is just a strip of the black and white stripe piece. You can notice the other side. These are from the Subtles Designer Series paper stack. So they have these kind of in each color family. They are awesome to have as your background bits. Now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to pull this kind of down on the lower side so I get less crushed curry and more mint. Now I'm going to pause it for 1 second, and I'm just going to run, and I'm going to use my paper trimmer, and I'm going to trim off my excess. Okay, so I'm back, and you can see that now that that's all kind of perfect and matches up. Now the next thing I'm going to do, and this was a super fun technique. I had never even remotely thought about this until I looked at the catalog and had to figure out how it was done. So this is the triple banner punch, and you'll notice it's got 3 different sizes. The smallest one is 1 inch, then we've got 1.5, and then we have got 2 inch. So I'm actually going to slide it in the 1.5 inch slot. Then I'm going to come around to the back side, and I'm actually going to, I'm just using my little bone folder, but I'm going to feed it up and over top so that it pops back out the other side, okay? Now, normally you wouldn't do that. You'd just stop where it kind of had butted up against the other end. And I'm going to pull it back as far as I can. And then I'm just going to look on the back side to make sure I've kept it centered. Okay, so now I'm going to squeeze it, and you'll be able to see. Now I've created that kind of arrow shape on the one side. I've got my little piece of paper in there. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm going to close up my crumb cake because I don't need it. I don't need to be wearing it. And I'm going to grab another favorite stamp set of mine. And this is the Bravo stamp set. It's a photopolymer one. And I am going to grab my Wow from here. Okay. Ta-da. I love these because I love stamps that I don't have to try and worry about lining up and making sure that they're straight. Okay, so I'm just inking mine in my Memento, and I'm going to come onto here, and I'm just going to put it, I don't know, there-ish. I can't tell if I'm doing it because I'm not over top of it because I don't want to get my head in the shot. I have a hard time telling whether I'm stamping straight. Okay. If I'm not, I apologize. So there, we've got the Wow. Now I'm going to take this back to my trimmer, and I'm just going to cut. I don't need quite that much excess on the end. And I'm going to just show you with this. Now I'm going to take this, and now I'm going to feed it in just the normal way. So now I'm going to feed my back end in here, and I'm just going to punch the back end. So now we've got this cute little arrow shape on here. Okay, so I can move that off to the side. Now the other thing that I did want to stamp, so I'm just going to clean off this guy, is I want the little stamp that's also from the Bravo stamp set, and it says, "You did it." Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to stamp it just below here. Now, again, you can see it's super easy in that I can see where I'm stamping it. I can line it up. Okay, so we're all good there. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to take my dimensionals and I'm just going to give this guy some of these across the back. Oh, I shouldn't have touched. Oh, it's okay. He's dry. Okay, let's pull this off. And I'm going to line him up just kind of over. Oh, I want it down a bit more. Okay, there we go. And then I already pre-cut it, sorry. I've got a little piece of the crushed curry baker's twine. Okay, so I'm going to get that and I'm going to tie it in a little bow. Do-do-do, do-do-do. Chop, chop. Okay, again, with my glue dots, I'm going to just take one of these out and I take it off and I almost kind of roll it on my finger because I don't want it to be the full circle shape for this. Otherwise, it will end up having more stickiness than my bow needs, like it'll be kind of around it. So we've got that. Now the last part I'm going to do with this is I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to grab a piece of my crushed curry cardstock. Now, of course, do you think I have any small scraps? No. And then I've got my cute, I've got a mess here, sorry. I've got a cute little star punch. And I'm going to use that star punch. And I'm just going to grab 1, 2, 3 of those. And then using my glue dots that we used for the twine, I'm just going to take each little star, I'm going to press it on, and then I'm just going to press it right onto here. Okay, so we'll stick those on, 1, 2, and let's do another one over there. 3. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to grab for this card is I'm going to grab my rhinestones. So these are just the Stampin' Up! Basic rhinestones. I don't know if you can see on here, but there's a green one right there. They color really well with Sharpies. They're really cute colored. Okay, so I use my scissors to get mine off because I find sometimes if I lift them off with my finger, I leave the glue dot on the sheet and then I just have this not sticky rhinestone. So if I use my scissors, kind of almost like tweezers, I can get them down a bit easier, and then I can also place them where I want them. Okay, I just need one more here. Okay, last step, and this is just a fun one. So we use that kind of mint macaron background there, and so now I've got it here as well, and I want you just to see, all I'm doing is see where those little shaded areas are? I'm gonna whip over them just with that same color of marker. Now it's harder to tell from where on a camera. I'm not being super careful here, but I'm not trying to stay in the lines or anything, so it's not a big deal. Oh, there, did I do that? I can't tell. There, there, there. Now in person, if you're, oh no, you can you see it on there? Yeah, you can. Kid, okay. So it just gives it that cute little background in there, kind of ties that right in with the card. Okay, so this will also be part of your make and take package. So get your card base and all your little strips, and you can just add whatever sentiment you'd like there. Or you can add in your Bravo stamp pad, or sorry, your Bravo stamp set or that gorgeous grunge stamp set that was in the background. But I'll have a little supply list for this card posted in the little link, or sorry, in the comments right after the video, okay?